Joe Sixpack and I both traveled recently, and we're going to tell you where you can take a nice day trip and get some great beer.
And if I promised you a year of free beer, would you get a tattoo of Joe Sixpack? All right, how about if it was a brewery that promised you?
That I might do. Maybe this one from Troubles End Brewing in Collegeville. With Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow for What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conchohockenbrewing.com.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing along with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're Troubles End Brewing on West 3rd, got to put the T in there, Avenue in Collegeville. What a great place. We took a tour. Terrific.
It is. They got a great spot here, right downtown Collegeville. Great location. Speaking of travel, this is the kind of place you could come out to in the burbs and spend some good fun time.
And I am drinking a devalued Salutations Dry Oat Stout. I like a stout in the middle of the day. How about you?
Why not?
Yeah.
Kith and Kin House Dinkel Lager.
You just enjoyed saying it. That's why you got it. Yes.
Poured from one of those Cool's Czech side pours. Very straightforward lager, made in their Cool ship, which I hope we get some pictures of later on today.
Oh yeah. Okay. So as we said in the open, Joe Sixpack and I both traveled recently, and we wanted to do something on places you could go for the day or maybe the weekend and try some new beers. So I went to the Finger Lakes. Okay. I have a friend who's a retired chef in Ithaca. By the way, great fringe benefit if your friend's a retired chef, because he just wanted to cook for us, which was good. Nordy, thank you. Anyway, I went to the Ithaca Beer Company. Most people know it for the Flower Power Ale, which sells down here a lot. They've got a lot going on there, and I got this one because I thought you would like this. Here you go. That's for you. This is the Cascazilla, okay, which the name is kind of a play on the gorge up in Ithaca called Cascadilla, and the monster Godzilla. There you go. A lot of Cascadian hops, something I thought you would like. Very fresh American hops. Nice red ale, caramel malt. What do you think?
Definitely caramel malt. You get that big on this. This is not just a big hoppy
that's nice.
beer. This has got a nice malt character. Cascazilla used to be available in the Philadelphia area. You'd see it a lot.
Is that right? Never saw that.
Yeah, but the Ithaca really started concentrating on their flower power, and so you don't see this beer around as much. Really nice looking color.
Very nice beer, and they did a lot of nice beers that I really enjoyed. Listen, people go to the Finger Lakes often for the wineries, which are great, but now they have a very active beer scene. Seneca Lake Brewing Company, Aurora Brewing, which I think you've been to, right?
I have been. I did a bicycle tour up at the Finger Lakes a few years back, and that was one of the breweries that I visited. I will say, most spectacular scenery of any brewery I've ever been at.
Yeah, it's beautiful. As they say, Ithaca is gorgeous. Also, Other Half Brewing Company, according to the reviews on Beer Advocate, this place, Other Half Brewing Company, has 16 of the top 20 beers made in New York last year.
Wow.
So they have a place in New York City.
Right.
But they also have a place out there in the
that's
Finger
cool.
Lakes. So that's definitely worth seeing. And as I said, I really enjoyed the Ithaca Beer Company. They had a beautiful beer garden, very good food, nice atmosphere, and a lot of beers. I recommend it. And again, it was a little over 3 hours, back and forth, or maybe spend a night. What about you?
Well, I went to upstate Pennsylvania. I already gave you
stole
my
your beer, didn't I?
You did. A little bit closer, Glenn, but no, it's a pretty good hike up there. But again, a destination where you can find a lot of breweries, because breweries are part of the tourism in any region. This is northeastern Pennsylvania I went to, and I visited the Breaker Brewing Company. They have 2 locations in Scranton and then another place, or rather one in Scranton and another place elsewhere. Really nice solid beer. I brought this, I'm going to let that settle a bit, Glenn. This is going to be a little bit of out of both of our
Comfort zone?
Comfort
Really?
zone,
What
I
is
guess.
this? What are you giving
This is
me?
their Mind Fire Blackberry Jalapeno IPA. I tasted this on tap there. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it quite a
Last
bit.
week we had a cucumber habanero IPA,
Right.
if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
or cucumber jalapeno IPA,
It
right?
wasn't that hot. This one, you smell that.
Yeah, I'm getting already. It's got a little bit of a burn to it.
It's
a little bit.
I taste more of the pepperiness than the
Yes.
heat. Of
Yes,
it, so.
I agree. I agree. So what else is up there?
So I went to about 3 or 4 other breweries. 2 of the notable ones are Hopping Eagle. And I'm going to give you this one later on. This is
Okay.
their double New England. I think it may mean Northeast Pennsylvania IPA.
Oh, NEPA is
Yes,
Northeast,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And then also nearby for them in Hawley is Wall & Paulpack. These guys are the real deal. Big brewery. They win lots of awards. This is their largemouth India Pale Ale, Wall & Paulpack.
So the point is, there are so many great breweries in this area. And by the way, Montco Makers, which is one of our sponsors, and one of the places we're in right now. So many great places you can go in Montgomery County. We've done the Bucks County Ale Trail. I mean, you can literally walk to so many great breweries in this area. But if you want to get a little ambitious, maybe take a day trip, a night trip in the fall, see the leaves, Northeast Pennsylvania, Finger Lakes, 2 great places.
Absolutely. I think there's no better way to visit the outdoors than go inside a bar and drink beer. So
Yeah, look at the leaves out the window. Those are really nice. I don't have to go out there.
Right.
Barkeep, another for Joe Sixpack.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
You are an ambitious guy. I appreciate that. Hey, coming up, as he told you in the beginning, the offer has been made, not by us. Would you get a tattoo of a specific brewery if it gave you a free year worth of beer? We'll talk about that coming up. From Trouble's End Brewing in Collegeville, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing.
So, what do you want to do today?
Today, I want to run. I want to skate.
Thank you.
I want to see a show. I want to play. I want to eat, like a lot. I want to sleep in a hotel. Can we do all that?
We can do all that and more.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Trouble's End Brewing Company in Collegeville. Good college town. There's Sinus.
Your sinus is here, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. All
I
right.
used to live not far from here.
Is that right?
On a farm, believe it or not.
You lived on a farm?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What are you, baling hay? I don't really
Milking
see
cows.
that happen. No, you never milked a cow in your life. All right, what are you drinking?
All right, this is Constructor Mild. It's a historic beer. It's an old style of British beer. They modeled it on recipes they got from a beer geek historian.
Wow,
And
nice.
this is really a nice, solid beer, very smooth.
I'm drinking the Boss Hammer Lager with the German Hep Sapphire, which is pretty damn nice.
That's Boss,
very
not
chocolatey.
Bass.
Boss, yes, that is correct. All right, so here's the deal. Devil's Backbone Brewery decided to do something. They have 2 million TikTok, well, no, they don't. There is a tattoo artist named Jake Caramal. He's got 2 million TikTok followers, and he created a tattoo design for Devil's Backbone beer. We're going to show it to you. And they decided the first 100 people, 21 years or older, who got one of those tattoos would get a card giving them a year of free beer. Free IPAs from the place.
A year of beer for a tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of
And
people,
by the way, it's actually a cool tattoo. But
I've
yes.
seen them, and
Yeah.
they do look pretty cool. Most people I know that get tattoos don't need like a year of beer to get them. They just do them.
Yeah, but they have a message. They have a reason. This one, would you get theirs?
It's an advertisement.
Okay, so we put out on our social media, what tattoo would you get? Or what beer tattoo do you have? And we got some. This thing of the skeleton, drinking a beer is amazing. And it reminds me of an old joke. Ready? Skeleton walks into a bar. Bartender says, what do you have? Skeleton says, give me a beer and a mop. Okay, so here you go. These are people who watch us who are nutty enough to get tattoos. This is Jim Sherlock, and you see the Schmitz tattoo there. And I love this story. He said, I got the Schmitz logo tattooed as a memorial for my grandfather, who worked at Schmitz from the time he was 14 to when it's closed, and it's also all he drank.
That's
great.
great.
Sweet, right?
That's a good tattoo.
I like that. Okay, this is Jim McDermott's got, you see, this is the Rat. You remember the Rat was a college bar in Westchester?
Absolutely. The Rathskeller.
Yeah.
Yes, the Rat. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a special place, so he got it as a tribute to the Rat. By the way, I had gone there a few times, and one time I was there, they had a guy who was a greeter, I mean, I guess a bouncer, but more of a greeter, Jim McGrory, who was billed as the biggest man in the world, and I think he was like 7'8". He was actually did some acting. He was in the movie Big Fish, if you ever saw that movie. He played the giant.
It's a stretch.
All right, and we had a few others. Dana Dillon, she said, I love my hops. She's got the hops tattooed on her inner arm, and Tim Knepp also has the hops on his lower leg. So those are some people who did that. What do you think?
You know, people, you love beer. It's a passion of yours. Why not get a tattoo? I have no tattoos.
I have no tattoos.
Yeah, Ma Sixpack wouldn't let me do that, so I just never got around to it.
Never too late. Okay, a couple things we want to bring up, kind of goofy stories here. So Heineken, not your favorite beer, every time I bring it up, and you'll have your chance to rip it, they launched a shoe called Heinekicks that give you, they say, the feeling of walking on beer because, as you'll see in this picture, the soles of these shoes, sneakers, whatever you want to call them, are filled with beer. Your thoughts?
Appropriate, I would say, because, you know, the smell of Heineken does remind me of dirty old sweat socks and sneakers, so I think you were right on there, Heineken. Way to go.
I love how you, anytime it comes, it's the only beer that you will always rip. The shoe matches the color of the Heineken bottle with shades of green, silver, and red. They also, here's my favorite part, they have a removable metal bottle opener built into the tongue of the shoe.
All right, that's kind of you know, handy.
Yeah,
to
because
have.
that's what you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to open my beer
All right,
up with foot.
speaking of products made with beer, Miller Lite launched a Miller Lite Beer Coal, the first ever charcoal infused with a concentrated form of beer. When burned, the special charcoal releases the taste of Miller Lite, wrapping whatever you're grilling in a smoky beer blanket. Now here's the thing. I've made beer can chicken.
Sure.
They say when you do it, use the cheapest kind of beer you can find because it doesn't matter.
With beer can chicken, I agree because I think mainly, first of all, do you put spices in your beer can with it or just?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
You do the rub and then you put the rest of the rub in the
Right,
can.
and the other thing is I think that really the function of the beer is to keep the chicken moist, so.
Right, all
it's
right,
not
so
much
maybe the same with the charcoal.
Yeah, maybe.
Gimmick?
I don't know. How do you light beer-infused charcoal?
I don't know. I don't know. Finally, David Ortiz, Hall of Famer, Major League Baseball this year, joined up with Whistle Pig Whiskey out of Vermont, and they launched the world's first toasted baseball bat finished whiskey.
So the whiskey was made or aged on baseball bats?
100% rye whiskey aged for 6 years in American oak before being finished for 6 weeks in barrels containing Ortiz toasted maple wood bats. 96 proof. Your thoughts?
Does it taste corked?
Very good. Very good. All right, these are some crazy things people are doing. All right, coming up, Joe Sixpack has spent his entire life stumbling around bars and breweries just for you. And so now he is going to give you the benefit of all of that wisdom. We are at the Troubles End Brewing Company in Collegeville. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing. Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, beer genius from Conshohocken Brewing Company. Andrew, let's run down some of our core beers with some exciting new looks. Start with Type A.
Our #1 selling beer. Big citrus hop notes. Type A is our classic American IPA.
Life Coach Hazy IPA.
Hazy, bright, and juicy. The perfect beer for all day, every day.
Puddler's Row.
Maybe the best English ale in the country. Back-to-back silver medals at the World Beer Cup.
Backpack Beer.
The newest addition to our year-round lineup. Citrus and spicy with a refreshingly clean finish. Pack a few and enjoy the view.
And everybody loves Ring the Bell.
My go-to. Smooth, easy drinking lager that's perfect before, during, or after the game. This one's out of here!
Oof. Thank you, Harry. All exciting choices. Enjoy them all and a whole lot more at all of our Conshohocken Brewing Company locations. And we're wherever beer is sold. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing from Troubles End Brewing Company in Collegeville. I'm Glen Macnow with Joe Sixpack. We got some of these pretzel buns, pretty nice, and the Nashville chicken egg rolls. But we have to work. No, we have to like brew the aroma, but do the show. All right, one of the fun things we've been doing this year is taking advantage of Joe Sixpack's vast knowledge of everything, every neighborhood. So we do a different one every week, and today, kind of close to your home, we're going to Manayunk.
Yes, Manayunk, great beer destination, really nice. Main Street's a wonderful downtown area there. And I would always point people to Manayunk Brewing because it was more or less the heart of Manayunk for many years, 25 years on Main Street. As we reported earlier in our season, they unfortunately decided to give up the ghost on brewing, partly I think because of all the floods, but also because things have changed there. They're becoming a different place. I still think you should go to Manayunk Brewing. I think it's one of the essentials because it tells you a lot about Manayunk itself. And also they have a pretty darn good tap list there. So you won't be disappointed going there, and a wonderful view of the canal there.
Okay.
Two other places among
when it doesn't flood.
Right, yes. Exactly. For Joe Sixpack's essentials in Manayunk, one is obvious. We did our podcast there, Glenn. Dawson Street Pub.
Great place.
I mean, this is one of Philadelphia's original beer bars with an ever-changing tap list, 3 cask beer lines, total neighborhood joint, but Dave Wilby there, the owner, does a wonderful job. He's a wonderful advocate for beer in Philadelphia. It totally a can't-miss spot. The other 2 spots that I would say, and Main Street's got a lot of other joints, by the way, so take your time, but further up the hill, get those little exercise, wander up the hill to 2 different brew pubs. Twisted Gingers, which is right on the line there, and it's got a terrific pizza and it's all great beer. And then the New Ridge Brewing, it's actually not that new, they've been around for a couple of years now. New Ridge Brewing with a wonderful beer garden, and they're making fantastic beers, including the Helles. Do not miss the Helles.
Okay, good stuff. My question about Manayunk is this, and I think the answer maybe is apparent. The north end of it, always busy, everything does great. The south end of it, like where the movie theater is, there's that great barbecue down there.
Right.
But places just don't seem to make it down there.
Yeah, well, I think it's because it's a little too far walking wise, but it's a weird kind of town. It's like a town. It's like a small town within a big city.
Yeah.
And it still hangs in there. I think they do a wonderful job promoting things there. They're always doing events. So I'm a fan. I didn't used to be, but I'm a fan of Manayunk.
All right, by the way, what are you drinking?
This is a really spectacular beer. Glenn, it's a Bocce Nebbiolo fermented rye saison. I'm amazed.
Oh, you're Mr. Saison.
I know
that, yeah.
You come to, it's a small brew pub here. You come here, I know what I'm sort of expecting to get. This beer is blowing me away. This is one of the best saisons I've had in the last year. It's outstanding.
Give me the name one more time
so people know. This is Bocce Nebbiolo. It's been aged on Nebbiolo grapes.
All right.
I think I'm saying that right. And cedar planks. Fantastic. Great saison.
One of the things we are also doing this year and having a lot of fun with is our Guzzly Awards, self-named because we wanted to give recognition to beers and brew pubs and beer bars that kind of are the best in certain things. So today we're looking for the place that makes the best stout. And so let me tell you some of the nominations we got, and then you'll name the 4.
This is a tough one because, stouts are all over the place.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I got. Broken Chair Brewery Dragon Stone Milk Stout was brought up. Village Idiot, New Jersey. Somebody said makes a really nice peanut butter cup chocolate porter. Boneshire Brewworks in Harrisburg makes a Russian Imperial with cinnamon, coffee, habanero, and cocoa ribs. Nibs, not ribs. Thank you for whoever nominated Conchi Brewing Oats Magoats. Appreciate that very much. Iron Hill. Somebody wrote this. Iron Hill and Media used to have the Hudson Stout. It was phenomenal, but they stopped making it. If your contest can be clout, to have them make another batch, I will gladly buy it all. So Iron Hill, the gauntlet has been thrown.
We're going to be at Iron Hill next week. We will drop a line.
We'll tell them that.
There.
All right. So, and we got a ton of nominations. Joe Sixpack, you name the 4 finalists.
All right, we've narrowed this down, and we want you to go out on Twitter and vote for these because we're going to be giving out the Guzzlies later on this year. The 4 finalists: Sly Fox O'Reilly Stout. That's a classic Irish dry stout, It's available in cans. It's a really terrific beer. Your personal favorite, no surprise making this into the final, Ship Bottom Mexican Stout.
It's one of my favorite beers.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about all of those various flavors. It's got them. Robert Zarco and the team does a great job with those.
The next is Free Will Ralpheus. We had that actually up there a couple years ago when we filmed up in Free Will. It's a fantastic stout. I don't see it as round as much as I'd like to, but it is fantastic.
A lot of
beer.
people mention that one, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people mention that
And
one.
finally, I think probably the single most notable stout, and I don't mean to push it too far, but locally is 2SP the Russian, made by Bob Barrar, who has won multiple national beer awards for that beer, for that big imperial stout.
Very good. So we're going to put those up for the Guzzlies. We're going to invite you to vote, and every week we're going to have a different kind of esoteric award that we're going to give out. And at the end of the year, huge trophies for that, right, Mr. Producer? No expense will be spared. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk to the owner and the chief brewer of this here joint, where Troubles End Brewing in Collegeville. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing.
You don't have to go away to get away. Go and explore. Find the small businesses that make where you live a community. When you dine, choose homemade. On a free weekend, discover the great outdoors. And if it's brewed here, enjoy it with friends. Support small for an experience you won't find anywhere else. Make it local, make it Main Street, make it Motco.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Troubles End Brewing Company in Collegeville with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Co-owners Casey Parker, Zach Svoboda. Zach is one of the brewer here. All right, so here's the thing. We came here, got your full array. I don't know, not full array, but we got 6 beers. None of them an IPA. What's up with that?
Well, one of the things that we are pretty proud of in general is the fact that not only do we serve our own beers, but we do feature guest beers. We like to support our community, whether it's local or an extended community. And there's a whole slew of people out there that really make tasty IPAs. It's a style of beer that I personally, well, I'll say it this way. Personally, I prefer brewing other styles of beer. And so I'll let
Boy,
other
that
people...
was very gentle
A
way
kind
of
way of
saying not your jam.
I mean, I enjoy an IPA, you know?
Yes, but you don't like brewing them.
Well, it's more, I think I am better suited to brew the beers that I brew.
All
you
right.
know?
So you have a couple saisons here. Why don't you crack one of those open so we can drink it and talk about it?
Sure.
Meanwhile, Casey, this is an extension for you. You're a longtime restaurateur and barman in Philadelphia. But in Philly, you're out here in the burbs. What brings you out here?
Well, our other partner, Dave, was our director of operations over at Troubles at Jose Pistolas and the Pistolas Group for a while. And he wanted to come out here after they had their second child and to open up a brewery. He has family from out here and everything. Cheers! I'm gonna keep drinking my peak. Like these things go.
Yeah.
I said, I'd love to be involved in it. Let me know. And I told him, just be ready. When you make that mental switch in your head, it happens quicker. And then like a week and a half later, we found out that Appellation was no longer going to be a thing. And we're like, hey. So
The former, you couldn't be more different from the Appalachian Brewery. What was the vision here when you opened this place up?
to be kind of a little bit of, do kind of a little bit of everything well. As Zach said, we like to serve other people's great beers from across the country and the world next to ours. We also wanted to kind of bring a little bit more of a city vibe out to this community. We do live music like crazy. We do an open jazz jam session every Tuesday night with an incredibly high level of musicianship. We do live music, original bands on Saturdays, brunch,
Fun times.
Yeah.
Zach, I want to get back to this beer.
Sure.
Tell me exactly what are we drinking here?
So this is a saison that was produced with Semillon grapes as well as Sauvignon Blanc yeast from Vox Venetti Vineyard in just outside of Oxford, Pennsylvania.
It's really clean tasting. It's got a wonderful taste, a tiny bit of funk to it.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
All of that comes from the natural yeast that he ferments his grapes with.
You know I'm a big fan of this style of beer.
I know
Glenn.
you are.
And I gotta say, these are really nice. The 2 saisons I've had so far, maybe 3, I'm losing count, all really well made.
Yeah, this is really good. Now you sell here, you sell outside as well?
We have not started distributing outside of our walls. So right now we are only selling here on premise.
So you have to come here. If you want a bottle,
come
if you
here.
want a taste of this, you got to come out here to Collegeville.
Sure do.
And get it. So.
All right, go ahead.
So this next one is pretty much the exact same style of beer.
Yeah.
Another saison with grapes, but this is done with red grapes. So this is done with Barbera and Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. That was from the rosé production of Vox Venetti last year.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
the question is,
pink.
Super pink.
am I drinking a beer or am I drinking a wine?
You are drinking a beer, but with a lot of grapes.
With a lot of
A
grapes.
lot
Interesting.
of grapes. And so it has a very wine-like character, but the liquid is all beer.
Okay.
It's just fun because we know Glenn, when we just showed up, he was brewing with peaches as well.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you got a lot of ingredients in your beers. Do you like fruit in your beer?
I love
guess?
fruit season, and I like using local fruit.
This is really nice.
And so
it's tart, but it's crisp, and
Yeah.
it's got a lot of flavor to it. This is a delicious beer. The name of this one more time?
Vocis Corum.
Vocis Corum.
So this one we're
okay.
releasing next
You do
week.
test people on this stuff, right? I mean,
course.
this is- yeah, okay.
Of course.
Hey, one of the other things here is you guys are very proud of your food. We've been looking at this for the last 15 minutes. We're hoping that we get to eat it before it gets cold. Casey, tell us a little bit about the food situation.
Well, our kitchen is we have a scratch kitchen run by Chef Chris Service, formerly of Blue Duck, a couple other places.
I've been to Blue Duck.
Yeah, he's
enjoyed
really
Blue Duck.
he just has a great mind for kind of a little bit outside the box comfort food, and I mean he does everything from great appetizers like this to killer entrees. We have a pork schnitzel that it has the Lord's gravy on top of it with like buttered noodles, and it's just so
He's
good.
getting in his zone.
Oh man,
He tends to glass over when he talks about it.
food in general. I'm like Homer.
We should say that you're right along the bike trail here too. So
You can get here from Philly.
yeah, absolutely.
It's a trek, but you can get here from Philly.
Yeah. Well, you fill up and then wander back.
We've had people do it.
And I will say this, and I think this is really fun and exciting because you guys are going against the grain a little bit. You're not doing what everybody else is doing. You've got your own thing. You do it really well. You're really proud of it. People, I'm sure, walk in here expecting the normal. They don't get the normal, and it's great, from the food to the beer to the entertainment to the setup. You got a great thing going here.
Thanks.
So we have really enjoyed our day, and we suggest that you get yourself out to Troubles End Brewing in Collegeville. For Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. We'll see you next week on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conshahockenbrewing.com.